of my time that I spent in Baldwin, man, because this is like definitely a big part of my life, man. You know, and I know it happened only 4 years of my long life. It only happened 4 years of my long life. You know, from 94 to 1998. Those are the times that I lived in Baldwin. But it most definitely taught me a lot about the different classes of black people, how some people believe that they are gatekeepers in the African or the black community, and how it made a brother like me feel coming up in these neighborhoods, my people. Now let's get real. I didn't grow up in Baldwin. I grew up in Hempstead, right? Some of the places that I lived in Hempstead, when I was 1, my mother and father in the 80s, an open drug market in Long Island. Anybody could tell you about Terrace Avenue and Hempstead in the 80s. From Terrace Avenue, my family moved on to Martin Luther King Drive in Long Island, Hempstead. That's another area during the 80s that was, you know, it wasn't the best area. And prior to me living in Freeport now, that was the most time that I spent in a place. I think we lived on the drive for like 7, 8 years. Then from the drive, we moved on to the border of Uniondale and Freeport, which was Maplewood Avenue. That's when I spent the 5th grade over there living in Uniondale. I mean, it was the borderline of Uniondale, Hempstead, but it was Uniondale School District. You know, Uniondale School District. I love that area, man. During that little short year, I met so many people who would go on to be some of my good friends. You know, Uniondale was such a great place for me, man. I love Uniondale as a community. After Uniondale, we moved back to Hempstead. Now, we moved on the Heights, or back on the Heights off of Westbury Boulevard on Rose Avenue. But this has always been the foundation of my life, Rose Avenue and Hempstead. So when people talk to me, I honestly have a lot of ties to Parkside, a lot of ties to the drive over there in that area. But if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you, I'm from the Heights, because a lot of my family members are from the Heights, and that's why I grew up with. That's why I was going outside on the Heights. So Hempstead had a terrible reputation back during that time, you know? And my mother, she always sent me to private schools. So I went to schools with people from all the black neighborhoods in Nassau County. We talking the Roosevelts, other people from Hempstead, people from Freeport, people from Uniondale, people from Newcastle and Westbury, people from Rockville Center, where I used to live. All these people used to come to some of the private schools that I went to, like St. Bridget's and places like that. So one of the things that my mother always strived for was to not pay that private school tuition. And we moved to Baldwin. Now, when I moved to Baldwin, we started meeting up with a whole bunch of different types of black people, man. You know, black people who were a little bit more established than the people that we knew in Hempstead. And this is when I started getting like doors closed in front of me, man, where parents didn't want their kids hanging out with me. I never knew what it was, man, when I was a kid. But I just always knew there was like a strain, you know, even with the person that I went to the prom with, man. You know what I mean? It's interesting because I ain't even gonna go mention names, but it is what it is, man. You know, they just didn't want me with they people. And like, I was really looked at as like a bad person when I really was not a bad kid. And my mother was really trying to hold down everything. You understand what I'm saying? She was out there going to work, out there trying to strive, out there trying to better herself, working 2 jobs, trying to put me into a situation, me and my brother into better situations. But at the same time, it wasn't white people that I was getting resentment from. It was just a whole bunch of black people who themselves was from neighborhoods like the 40s projects, neighborhoods from, you know, Marcy's and the Brooklyns and all of that stuff, who they just made it a generation prior to my generation. But they were the ones that was trying to hold doors against me, son. And it was crazy. Like, I've never felt pressure or pain from nobody else that I felt from my same people who my mother and my father was trying to assimilate with. But these were the same people that was holding doors and trying to stop us from feeling some type of way. And it's like my own people, son. It was so crazy because I was raised in a hip hop community, raised to think that we were all one, raised to feel like, okay, if your brother made it, you supposed to be happy for your brother, just to see that it ain't like that. These cats was holding doors against us, son. It was the craziest thing. Now, I'm striving. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to do what I need to do for just to represent for black people. Like, yo, you cannot look at where a brother is from and determine their education level. You can't determine how they are going to succeed. Because I've been hearing for my whole life that African Americans or just black people have no culture, that we can't do anything. But in my life, the people who I was raised to look up to did things. And it was all about unity. And that's how I thought it was about. Until I started moving up and started seeing that the so-called black people who made it were the same exact ones trying to gatekeep and hold other black people from making, you know what I mean? And it all came home to me once I, as a person, myself, crossed a certain threshold. And that threshold was making a little bit over $100,000 a year. And the way I carry myself, nonchalant, hip-hop still, listening to rap music, doing the things that I do, it wasn't white people that was trying to hold me back. It was the black people. Today, at work, it's black people that give me the most stress. It's black people that want to compete with me, that, want to keep me away from shit. And all I'm doing is trying to show everybody that you cannot look at where a brother's from. You can't look at how a brother carry themselves. You can't look at the way a person, the music that they listen to, or the way they dress and determine their education level. You can't do that. Because once you start stereotyping a black person like me, you're going to get embarrassed every single time. Because I can flip the script on you anyway. I can speak to you in an intelligent manner. I can speak to you in any way that you process information. And it's still my people that's holding me back, man. And this is the craziest thing, yo. It's the craziest thing. So Baldwin was one of those areas that taught me that, man. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it taught me to stop really just looking at skin complexion, yo. Because what I was looking at as something that connects all of us, our experiences, that ain't real, man. That ain't real. And now I'm just drawn to people in general, just good people, yo. You know what I mean? Just good people. Like, if you good people, I don't care if you black, white, Chinese, whatever, son, you my people. That's who I speak to now, man. You know what I mean? Because it could be your own brother, a person with your same skin complexion that do you worse than the white man do you. You know what I mean? So it's obvious that ain't it. Color ain't it. Skin color ain't it, man. You know what I mean? Skin color ain't it. When I was sick, I told y'all about my sickness, man. I'm going to tell you, man. It was a Haitian brother who went out and helped me out, who saved my life, who went out, was speaking to my mother, giving my mother the information that she needed. It was a straight up Haitian brother that looked at me and was like, yo, I'm going to help him out. A Chinese nurse. She wasn't Chinese, my bad. She was from Vietnam. A Vietnam nurse used to take her time out and used to tell me, oh, you look like a model. Used to shave my face. Used to give me pointers to, make myself feel better. Those are the people that helped me out other than my family members. You know what I mean? It's the craziest thing, son. The craziest thing. And it's like, I spent my whole life looking at skin complexion, as something that was like the equalifier or the equalizer, when it really not, man. It's really not, yo. And it's crazy that my whole life experiences was built on that when that ain't even true. You know what I mean? It ain't even true. Of course, I look at my brothers as, people who grew up like me, my people from the stead, my people with similar situations as me. And of course, I'm gonna go the extra mile for them, but I go the extra mile for everybody, man. And it got nothing to do with skin complexion. And the job where I work now, I work with the handicapped and elderly people, son. And a white elderly person who needs my help, they're gonna get the same help from me than my brother gonna get, you know what I mean? And it's crazy that society taught me that, man, But then you know me, I dig deep into everything. So I look at complexion and skin complexion. And from an evolutionary standpoint, we could look at race as not being real. It's not. Race is a social construct. And I realized that based off of the ancient Egyptian argument. You got brothers who are mad far away from ancient Egyptians, who share ancestors with ancient Egyptians thousands of years ago, back to, when humans split, or, prior to the Sahara Desert becoming the Sahara Desert, back when it was still the Green Sahara. The population flow used to go from north to east to west to south. So those ancient Egyptians shared ancestors closer to people from the Near East than they will to West Africans. But yet us as West Africans, or descendants of West Africans, trying to claim their lineages. And that used to always bother me, man. Used to always bother me, you know what I mean? But again, when you look at that, the people who initially left Africa from East Africa had dark skin. That stuff started changing later on. So you had archaic humans who were Europeans genetically, but at the same time, they retained dark skin. Some of them had blue eyes, some of them had blonde hair, but they still retained some of that dark skin that they received from the ancient ancestors who left Africa. So I look at that as Europeans being nothing but Africans that's adapted to the environment in Europe, or the environment in the places where they left. Somebody said, you are weird. I am weird. I'm very weird. So I look at that as that, and that explains it. So when people tell me about race, about people being born bad, people having bad genes, and separating people based off of intelligence, like, that's not real to me, man. You know what I mean? It tells me that race is just a social construct, because when you look at the ancient Egyptians, you can't place them in the American concept of what we look at as race. So a black person in America, you can't go to East Africa and tell them that they black too. They're gonna define who they are. So to a certain extent, race is a social construct, son. You can't tell me who black. You can't tell me who black. You can't tell me who white in nature or in history. That don't match. The fact of the matter is that we are all one. We are the human race, brothers. You can't get around it. You understand what I'm saying? And the science back that. So if me following science makes me weird, then I will be weird. You understand what I'm saying? You guys are weird to me, who come up here and talk this nonsense that can't be backed scientifically, that goes off of your emotion. That's weird to me, But these are scientific facts. You can check the maps. You know what I mean? You can check the DNA and see it, So, listen, man, the point I'm making is this, yo. We all the same, man. We got to start seeing humans as humans in general, son, and stop separating. You know what I mean? Once we realize that, I think as a species, as the human species, we would be better. You know what I mean? You see that black man or that white man or anybody in, in the subway station being poor. You can't say, oh, this is how white people are, or this is the way black people are. No, that person speak for them. And as a society, it's of course, people's individual decisions determine outcomes But at the same time, systems, it's systems you got to look at. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, that person's decisions did attribute to them becoming homeless. But at the same time, what system do we set up as a society, as a safety net for these people? What are we setting up as a safety net for these people to help people with mental problems, people who may come on harsh times, to keep them out the streets? You know what I mean? Because I think the world is based off of systems. Of course, you're going to have some people that slip through the cracks, but we need systems, man. And that system got to be colorblind. It can't be a system that's skewed for certain people to succeed while others do not succeed, you know? So what the comment section say? What the comment section say? Steph Fanny Peters 332. What else you got to say, man? You said I'm weird. What else you got to say? Don't leave now, man. Let's talk. I don't run from nothing. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk, my people, on this Christmas Eve. Let's have these hard conversations, my people. You want to talk about race? Let's talk about race, man. Y'all want to talk about black fatigue? Let's talk about black fatigue. You want to talk about black people not having culture? Let's speak about that. You want to talk about Trump? We can speak about all of that, man. Just let me know how you guys feel. We ain't running from no smoke here. We want to have honest dialogue. Let's get it. Let's get it. And we're walking around in Stearns Park in Freeport, New York. This is a very, very, very nice area, man. And it strives me to own. Make me want to get my own, my people. Make me want to get my own for my family. You dig? So what y'all doing today, man? Y'all wrapping gifts? Are you guys cooking? What y'all doing, man? Talk to me. What's going on? What's the vibes for the night? What's some of y'all favorite Christmas movies, man? One of my favorite Christmas movies, I would say, is Home Alone. That is a classic. They ain't have to leave Kevin alone like that. What else? A Christmas Story. That's one of my favorites. Gremlins. I bet y'all ain't know I was going to say Gremlins. Somebody said hi in the check-in. Who said hi? That is Steph Fanny Peters. What up? Hi. What's going on? What's going on? What's your favorite Christmas movie? I just said three of mine. I said Gremlins. That was a classic. Also said Home Alone, A Christmas Story. Those are classics. I think I'm telling my age when I tell y'all about that. Gizmo was a hit. Gizmo was a hit back in the 80s, man. You know? I think I had a little Gizmo doll. A Margua. You know, what was he? A Margua. He said Monster. Definitely. Oh, yeah, Monster. Classic. Charlie Brown. Definitely a classic. Charlie Brown was a classic. I remember watching Charlie Brown every year. That's something we used to watch in school. The Charlie Brown Christmas special. Definitely official. What else is some of your best Christmas movies? What were some of the best Christmas gifts that you got? I think I mentioned earlier that some of my best gifts were systems. You know, I had great Christmases, and I always knew my parents ain't have it like that. But I knew at Christmas time I could ask for one big item. And whenever a new system came out, that was the big item I was asking for, man. So I would hook up my systems and play them joints on Christmas. Family would be over. We'd be playing stuff like NBA Jam, NBA Live 95. Y'all remember NBA Live 95? Bases Loaded. All them games, man. And this was back when you ain't have online. People used to have to come to your crib and play. So you know how many fights it used to start? People were like, yo, I got next. Somebody will lose, be like, nah, I ain't giving up the controller. You had to get that controller from that man. These was classic times. Somebody said Sega Saturn. Breezy said Sega. Sir, I definitely remember Sega Saturn. I think I got a picture from that Christmas. I got the Garnets that year. Remember the Garnets that came out? I think it came out the same year as the initial Sega Saturn. I had copped those. My mother had got me those Garnets. Them shits was fly back in the day, son. With Sega Saturn, with the, I think Damn, what it launch with? Did it launch with Live? Nah, Saturn used to have 2K. I think Saturn came with 2K, right? Or that was the Dreamcast. Am I getting the Dreamcast mixed up with the Saturn? I don't know if I'm getting the Dreamcast mixed up with the Sega Saturn. Am I? I might be mixing them up, yo. Because both of them was legends. And I remember when the Xbox dropped, man. The Xbox dropped with Halo was popping, man. And Halo changed the game forever, yo. Halo, for me, probably was my #1 game ever, yo. Man, we used to hook up those Xboxes, had like 3 or 4 Xboxes hooked up. We used to have like 12, 13 people in the room. I used to have my joint hooked up like speakers. I used to hook up speakers, sir, in different rooms. Mad people used to come to the crib, and we used to have we used to take off all the shields, and you know you get hit in the head with that pistol. That pistol in the original Halo was a cheat code. If you had aim with that, son, you headshotting people all day. And then that sniper rifle, I was a beast. Headshots. I used to remix the Nas song. I used to say, all I need is one shot. Because that's all I needed. You could be shooting at me 15 times. I jump around, do the little turn in the air, pop. Especially with the shields off, pop. One shot, one kill, man. My man said, yup, Xbox had Halo. He said Dreamcast was after Saturn. Okay, so let me try to refresh my memory. So Dreamcast, I think Dreamcast was when I did get the Garnets. I think that was the same year. So you said Saturn was before the Dreamcast. Saturn, it was a baseball game that dropped with Saturn. And if you from Long Island with the Saturn, I remember, I think Best Buy is there now, but they used to have Incredible Universe. Breezy, am I right about that? And SimCity on computer. Those was dope times. I think they used to have, what was the name of that joint in Westbury? What was that? Incredible Universe, yo. Incredible Universe. That was the Dreamcast. And they used to have a baseball game that dropped with it. And that baseball game was one of the most official baseball games ever that dropped with the Sega Saturn. I forgot what it was. But I remember them Saturn days. And I think Saturn also was one of the first joints that kind of played around with online play. Am I correct or no? I think Saturn played around with that at first, you know, like with the online play, or was that Dreamcast that started the online play on the low? I don't even know, man. I don't remember. But, you know, you bring back memories, man. You definitely bring it back memories. Yup, Major League Baseball. He said it, Major League Baseball. That game changed the game, Major League Baseball. And we used to go to Incredible Universe, and they used to have tournaments because a Street Fighter. It was Street Fighter that was out. Mortal Kombat and they used to have the tournaments over there. Then Nintendo had the 64. I remember the 64. I think Mario Kart. I used to rock with the Mario Kart with the 64. The Mario Kart with the 64. They had the Ken Griffey baseball too with Nintendo 64. Yeah, damn, son. You bringing back so many good memories, man, from back in the day. Well, and we used to get those systems. Well, I used to get those systems for Christmas. You know, we all used to just be playing them, man. Definitely playing them. An Incredible Universe. They used to have the tournaments up there. They had the CDs up there where you could listen to CDs before they drop. I remember copping Exhibit album. Paparazzi was one of the songs. And Westbury, yup. And Westbury, facts. I think I used to rock with Exhibit. So you could go over there, get your CDs, then play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. They used to have all them games out there, man. And it brought together so many different people that you could build with. That was one of the first places where, you know, you started really meeting gamers, real gamers and music heads. You know what I mean? I met so many music heads, people that was into the same music that I was into that I didn't get to meet in my neighborhood in Hempstead, but it did bring together a whole bunch of people. My parents used to just drop me off there. And we sit there for 2-3 hours, man, reading the magazines, playing the video games. It was crazy, man. They had a Nathan's there. Yup, they damn sure did have a Nathan's there. Yup. Man, these was classic times, man. But now, don't nobody even really go to the malls no more, man. What happened, son? We used to ride our bike. Oh, yeah, definitely, yup. Yeah, we used to ride our bikes there. And we used to ride our bikes to the Blockbuster, because, you know, I'm from the Heights over there. And Westbury Boulevard, straight off of there, we used to walk from Westbury Boulevard all the way on Stewart Avenue to the Blockbuster. We used to rent movies over there. It was official, man. It was just a whole different time. We used to go to Roosevelt Field Mall. Cats used to walk around with their pads and a pen, trying to holler at girls. You getting numbers, writing them down. Man, them days of the past, man. We will never, ever, ever go back to them crazy days again, man. Definitely official. Definitely official, man. You know? I wonder if we will ever get back to that time of face-to-face stuff. I think it's good and also bad. Should I walk over there to the hood for y'all? In the Blockbuster, yup. I'm going to walk to the hood for y'all, man. I ain't got nothing else better to do. It's a nice little neighborhood over here in Freeport. I'm going to walk over to the hood for y'all, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to show y'all the hood little area of Freeport. I might even go through a little bit of Roosevelt for y'all, man. You know what I mean? Because we walking, we chilling. It's Christmas Eve, you know what I mean? I might go get me a little bit of eggnog when I go back to the crib. You feel me? Just chilling. I like the chat. I like the chat, man. Definitely like the chat. You know? Yeah. He said, I'll be telling cats about that. Yes, sir. You coming to the block? You want me to come through, Mont? Yeah, I might walk through over there. You go check you, Big Mont. You home, brother? You home? You home, Big Mont? If you home, I'm going to walk over there, man. You know what I mean? I might definitely walk over there. You feel me? So, yeah, it's Christmas Eve, just chilling. Ain't got nothing else better to do. Y'all see me working all the time. Catch me working. Now I'm just chilling. I ain't going to do no working today. I told myself I'm going to take a break. I'm going to relax. I'm going to chill. Might get me a little bit of eggnog. I done ate like 3-4 times already. My stomach feeling full. And I'm good, man. I'm good. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do today? Mont said, yup, we need to walk or ride over, or what did he say? We used to walk or ride all over, yup. We used to, back in the day, because we ain't had no GPS, man. So we used to play this game where we used to try to get lost. So we'd just keep walking and keep walking until we couldn't find where we was. And that was fun, just getting lost, you know what I mean? Crazy. We always, you know, and then, like, you know, us being from where we from, we was Rose Avenue. So we used to call ourselves RAC. And we used to just walk around Hempstead, just seeing what the hell we could get into. Just walking around, seeing what we could get into, man. You know, we would walk to Uniondale, mess with people in Uniondale, because Hempstead always thought they was the toughest. So we would walk around in Uniondale, try to bully cats in Uniondale. You're crazy, man. Well, we used to try to bully people. We used to try to see who, you know, like see cats playing around in they block. Like one of the things we used to do. And, you know, it wasn't even right. So cats used to have basketball courts in their yard. Man, if they left their basketball out in their basketball court, yo, we'd walk in their yard, start fucking, we used to call it shack in their court, son. We used to call it shack in their court. Because we'd try to break their rim. They had a court out. If it was low and there's a basketball out, we'd just grab their ball, just be like, boom, boom, try and break their shit, yo. We used to call it shacking. Like, if your joint was low and you had a basketball out, we'll go in your yard and just try to shack it, like, bow. We used to get caught. They was like, yo, if you want one, tell your parents to get you one. My boy Breezy Obama, like, I remember Felix and them had from, yup, you remember Felix? You remember Felix? He said, real spit, world life, no cap. You already know what it was, how it used to be back in the day, son. You know what I mean? Cats used to try to shack your court. You'll come home, your court would be broke. And then cats from terrorists, son, they act like they ain't had no home training. You couldn't take somebody from terrorists nowhere, son. My man remember Felix. That was my block, son. Felix. I used to live on the same blocks as Felix. Whoa. Yeah, so we about to walk across North Main, man. You know, you're gonna see things switch a little bit over here. But, you know, it's still Freeport. Definitely still Freeport, you know what I mean? I want to talk about the show. Y'all always see Big Mont on the check-in. You know what I mean? Big Mont always on the check-in. Y'all got to know that me and Big Mont go back a long time. I'm not going to speak about where we used to work, you know, because that's where he showed me how intelligent he was, because Big Mont was actually one of the people who trained me. You feel me? Big Mont put me onto game. He was, you know, he was the B-Live before the B-Live. He was the original young blood. You understand what I'm saying? Mont started when he was like 21. You feel me? The youngest dude to do what he was doing. And, you know, I just followed after his footsteps, and he was one of the people who put me on. But then, after that, you feel me? We established a show called In the Radio. And this was a show to put Long Island cats on, man. Because we are from Long Island. And it was like, in the rap world, we got so many legends, but nobody speak about us. And Long Island is always looked at as soft, like we never had anyone representing. So me and my cousin, we established the concept to start wanting to put Long Island rappers on. And my cousin, Ace, you know, he is somebody that everybody like, you know what I mean? Homecoming King, Hempstead, 97, 98, Prom King. So he had the respect and the know-how from the neighborhood to get a whole bunch of people on. Big Mont is also known in the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So he got us a whole bunch of guests. And, you know, I was kind of the glue. You know, putting together a lot of topics, being the person that was bringing together a bunch of knowledge. It just worked. It just worked. So we put all of that together, man. And in like 4 or 5 years, we developed one of the most successful Long Island hip-hop shows, man. The records got to reflect that in history. It reflected, son. No matter what, it just got to reflect it. You understand what I'm saying? No matter what. We put our names in history. So some of the people that y'all see doing stuff now, we were really some of the first people to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And Marvin Moore, exactly. Y'all already know Marvin. You know, he used to sing with Carlos Santana and them. Maria, Parkside, y'all already know what it is. I used to battle A+ by my garbage cans. You already know, A+, Parkside Gardens. You know what I mean? You already know my brother used to rhyme with Chris Henderson. And Chris Henderson is Scoot Henderson's father. And that was my next door neighbor, son, on the drive. So anybody who know about Scoot, the third pick in the NBA draft, I think that was what? A couple years ago, you know what I mean? That was my next door neighbor, the Hendersons. You feel me? So I know his pops. His pops used to help me with spelling contest. This is how far I go back. Spelling contest, everything, man, you know what I mean? I remember, because they had a party. I remember, because Chris used to rhyme with my brother. His name was Boot, and my brother's name was Boot Knock. So, like, I remember when Chris had bounced from Hempstead to move to Atlanta with his wife. And this is before the kids. You understand what I'm saying? So y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all already know the connections that go back. You know what I mean? What my boy Breezy said. He said Coffee Pop Records. Exactly. Brett. Yup, you already know my brother. Exactly. Cloud 9. Yes, sir. You know? My brother put me on, son. I remember when his first raps, or not his first raps, but his solo joint, he used to be like, December 5th was the start of my bodily deterioration, born into a nation. I couldn't give a damn about my racial affiliation. The Caucasian head of this genocidal generation that got me trapped in black while we read these scriptures. That's rap, giving my peeps mental cataracts. Come on, son. That's official right there. on the southern state, make a right. That's when you see Come on, son. I remember all them joints. Boot knock. You already know what it is, Breezy. Yes, sir. You already know what it is. So I'm pulling up. You know we cross more from North Main. As you know, the vibes kind of change over here. But it's still all love. Y'all? Yeah. Y'all know the vibes is still love over here, man. You know? Yes, sir. We're in the beautiful Freeport. The beautiful, beautiful Freeport. You dig? And we're just going back over memories, man. Memories of the neighborhood. Man, I've been living in Freeport years, kid, on and off. For like 15 years now, so I could validly say I'm from Freeport too, yo. Could validly say. Somebody said, Breezy said, I be talking about Long Island all the time. Yes, sir. Long Island, one of them places that once you come on here, you're gonna love it. You cannot not like Long Island. You cannot not like Long Island, man. Long Island is to be loved. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna walk to my boy Big Mott house. I ain't gonna put him on the camera for y'all, you know what I mean? But yeah, we did our thing, man. We most definitely did our thing for Long Island in the Loop Radio. Y'all could check it out. We had a bunch of people on. But that was just us trying to say we're gonna do for Long Island what other people are doing from the city. You feel me? And it's crazy because, yo, we even got our names in the city, man. So y'all remember 2 shows that we introduced to each other, man. 2 shows that we introduced to each other. And at the time, they were the biggest shows. Y'all remember 848? Y'all remember the show 848? So we were some of the first people to reach out to 848 before they was even big. And we introduced them to another show that we got on before they was really even big. And that's Money, what was it? Money, Power, and Respect. Y'all remember that show? Back in the day with Rafe and all of them other cats. That show blew up. Both of them shows blew up. And we introduced them to each other. They actually met on our show, son. Crazy. You know? They started realizing now, oh shit, I know some of these dudes. It was like we hooked Brooklyn up with the Bronx. Because 848 took you know, it was Eden Wall, if I'm not mistaken. We definitely put them all on together, you know, definitely official. Damn, these Freeport blocks be long, man. I love you, brother, but I'm about to turn back, man. It's too damn cold out here, bro. I'm about to turn back, my brother. It's too goddamn cold. I'm going home, man. Fuck that. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't want this brother, you know, I ain't gonna put the camera in this man's car. You understand what I'm saying? It's too damn cold, Big Mike. I'm taking my ass. Hit on, son. Word. But y'all love me some Long Island, man. You know? He said our talent show was the biggest on Long Island. What talent show you had, Breezy? What talent show you had? Yep. We was there. Definitely there, man. Yeah, I'm turning back, man. I'm taking my ass home. It's getting cold. And it's 9:30. Almost past my bedtime, y'all. Almost past my bedtime. My boy George Lopez said, be safe. The Hempstead Talent Show. All right, talk about that Hempstead Talent Show. Let me know. The Hempstead Talent Show. What I remember about Hempstead growing up was the basketball team, because you already know SAP. Like, I remember, man, S1 used to go to Hempstead. A straight up legend when it come to basketball. I remember SAP during the same time my brother was there, Norris, Tavares. I didn't go to Hempstead, you know what I mean? But my brother went. I went to Baldwin. And Baldwin, we had some legends too. You know what I mean? We definitely had some legends that came out of Baldwin. Once I graduated, Baldwin most definitely became a powerhouse when it came to baseball. Basketball. Baldwin definitely became a powerhouse when I left. From the McDonald's right there. Yep. I remember the McDonald's over there, man. You know? Definitely remember the McDonald's over there. You know? Do. Boom, boom, boom. So what y'all doing for Christmas, man? Who coming to y'all house? Who coming to y'all house for Christmas? Who visits? Who visits? Look at that big-ass beehive, son. Oh, my Lord, son. Look at this. Do bees come out at night? Look at this, yo. Y'all see that? That's a big-ass beehive, yo. I ain't messing with that. He said Canute Curtis from Baldwin. I don't think he went to Baldwin when I was there, yo. I know. He said those are hornets. Big Mott said they hornets. I ain't messing with no damn hornets. I ain't messing with no hornets. Y'all saw that? He said your brother from Algier. All right. Nah, I don't think I was in the school when he went there. You know what I mean? I don't think I was in Baldwin when he went there. I went to school with Chris Widener, the one who beat up Silver, Anderson Silver. He was in school, but I didn't really know him like that. He was 2 years younger than me. He was on the wrestling team, and I ain't really know him, you know? I definitely ain't know him like that. But yeah, Big Man, I'm gonna have to catch you on the rebound, my brother. It's cold out here, kid. And I'm headed Bidak. Yeah, he was the ninja that used to run all over us out. He said he used to run all over y'all. You know, it happens, man. It happens. It was a cat from Amityville that was killing everybody, you know? And I had moved to Amityville for a couple years. I was mentally ill in Amityville, you know? Chilling out there with the brothers from Amityville. That was another spot that I moved to that I really, really, really love, man. If I could, I'd have stayed in Amityville, man. You know, my people, I really liked Amityville, yo. That was the spot I used to live in. Like I said, East Flatbush. Y'all know I used to live at in Brooklyn. I used to love the people out there in East Flatbush, the Haitians. I showed the brother love. You know what I mean? If you ask me again, I also will tell you cats that you know, it's parts of Harlem that my face is known in, over there in Sugar Hill. Y'all already know what it is. I be up there all the time. Sugar Hill and Harlem. Brooklyn is another spot I be in. You might catch me in Long Island City, Queens, chilling with the people out there in Queens. I lived in Astoria. That was another area where I represent Astoria. You know, I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere. He said my green knot had to tackle his ass. You had to tackle him. My family from Harlem. Yeah, you already know what it is in Harlem. I love me some Harlem, man. Harlem, they love me out there too. You understand what I'm saying? So if I ever make it big and famous, you're going to have people claiming me from everywhere. You got cats from Amityville be like, yeah, I know B. B from Amityville. The stat damn sure going to claim me. You got people in Freeport like, yeah, I know B from Freeport. You got people like, yeah, I know B, he from Uniondale. Some people might even say I'm from Newcastle, Westbury. You understand what I'm saying? Depending on who you ask. Depending on who you ask. You know? But if you ask me, I represent you no matter where you're from. If you from PA, I represent you. If you from Canarsie, I represent you. You dig? No matter where you from, if you for the people, you one of my people. I'm about to get hit by a car. That ain't my people right there. Driving up the block fast, that ain't my peeps. Them ain't my people driving like that. My people don't drive like that, son. They not my people. And that damn cop who pulled me over here ain't my people neither, son. Let me ask y'all, technically, is this running a light? This how my license got suspended one time, and I had to get it all back. Somebody said, I remember having to play Long Beach, and they field was covered in goose. I remember Long Beach. Yeah, Long Beach, definitely. Long Beach got some black people out there, too. So let me ask y'all, man, is this a violation? Y'all see this light right here? Right? I could make a right on red, man. You see? And look, my block was right here. So I crawled past this, boom, and made this right. The cop seen me. What up? pulled me over and said I ran the light. Can you believe it? I ain't handled that ticket and messed around and got my license suspended. Messed up over it, man. But yo, I ain't run no light, man. That's a valid turn on red, if you ask me. That's a valid turn on red, man. I'm out here playing with the people, man. Playing with y'all, on my way back home. This is a good stream, man. I'm having fun with you cats, man. I love it. Me love it. Beloved. Me love it, beloved. He said, I see why you popping. It's authentic. You already know. You already know it's authentic. And thank you, man. Thank you, Breezy. Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it, kid. I go from heavy topics, talking about evolution, human movement, to just BSing with you cats, man. To just BSing with you cats, kid. You feel me? But it ain't nothing too serious because, I realized that all of this knowledge, man, all of this stuff, I could learn something tomorrow to make me be like, damn, son, I ain't know nothing today. So everything that I say, I take it with a grain of salt, man, because I know that it's just now. I was actually looking at that stuff, man, and looking at religion and looking at the Bible and listening to the creation stories that's in the Bible and creation stories that, manifest through times. And I look